What's going on, go-getters?
In this week's episode, we talked to my good friend Matt Saxe, who is a jack of all trades. He's an athlete, he's a stock investor, he is a web developer, and a coder. He's also a reader, among all things.
Yeah, this kid's an absolute savage. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and also drop a comment, leaving some feedback. We hope you guys enjoy.
Enjoy.
Boom, Matthew Saxe.
Gentlemen,
What's going on, bro? Good, man. Good. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Pretty good.
So what you been up to, man?
I've been doing a lot of stuff. Been working out a lot, working a lot, and just started doing some martial arts. So that has honestly, in the past month, I feel like changed my outlook on life, man.
Damn.
Yeah. It's like nothing I've ever done. The amount of growth in the past month is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what got you into that to begin with? You do jiu-jitsu, right? You do jiu-jitsu with
He
Darren?
does kickboxing, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so kickboxing, not too much. It's just 2 days a week. Well,
Nice.
actually, jiu-jitsu, it's only 2 days a week, too, because I just got a lot going on. I
Yeah.
play some basketball sometimes, so it's tough. It's like 40 minutes from my house, so
Yeah.
it's not very convenient for me, but I really am trying to get into it. I make time for it because it's important to me now.
An athletic tech wizard. That's like a weird combination you got going on over
Yeah,
there. Not
yeah,
many
so-
guys like you out there, eh?
Yeah, so I'm a software engineer, an investor, and I work out a lot, so.
Yeah. So, okay, first, what type of workouts are you getting into? Like, what type of weight training are you doing and stuff like that?
Yeah, so it's funny you ask because for years, since I was 14, I was just doing weightlifting and stuff, you know, the classic. But I recently got into calisthenics, and it is one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Yeah.
It's you ever see the guys doing the handstand push-ups and planches and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not good at it yet, but I've been doing it for the past probably 6 months.
Strictly body weight?
No, the calisthenics stuff is strictly body weight, but I do still lift weights.
Okay,
and
so
do
it's like a
calisthenics.
combination of weightlifting and calisthenics.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
And my leg workouts are really inspired by Knees Over Toes guy.
Oh,
We talked about
yeah.
that before. He's
Shout out.
awesome, man. I mean, like, it really it's a whole new paradigm, honestly. Like, just the strength through length. I mean, that full range of motion, tendon strength. It's amazing to me that I didn't know that before.
Yeah.
And
Did you have knee problems before getting into knees over toe training? Toes?
yeah, so I had a bad left knee because I threw javelin in high school. And one of the aspects of that is called a block. So essentially you're running as fast as you can, and then you stop all your weight with your leg, and you have to keep it straight. So, I mean, I'd have to probably show you a picture to kind of get that.
I think I can
image.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your leg is straight.
Yeah.
You can't bend your knee or else you're doing it wrong, and that just puts a beating on your...
And that's to, like, stop the momentum so that you could throw this jab as
Yeah.
far as you possibly can. Like, it's kind of like a car going super fast. And then when it stops, whatever is on the car will just...
Yeah, exactly.
Like a momentum shift kind of thing.
Yeah, so you're blocking with your left leg. Well, I'm right-handed, so I'm blocking with my left leg, and I'm throwing with my right arm. So that's stopping the left side of my body, and then my right side of my body comes around, and it's like more of like a catapult than a throw. Like, you're not using strength, you're using leverage and
Momentum.
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Like physics. Like that's like some Sir Isaac Newton shit. Like an object at rest will stay at rest.
Yeah.
An object in motion will stay in motion, kind of.
Yep. Like, you got to wear spikes.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll slide. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
And that's like
cool.
almost exactly what the knees over toes thing really helps you train, right? Is like stopping that like driving force, like when your leg hits the ground. And what do you call those workouts that we do in the gym?
tibialis raises.
The tibialis raises to
Yeah.
like absorb the impact of the ground when you're hitting.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would imagine the knees over toes workouts would probably be perfect for that specifically, because I never even took that into consideration. I never heard like a javelin thrower say like their knees were that messed up. I guess I don't know. It's kind of odd.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe that's not a common thing. I would think it is, though, because you have to do that or else you're not going to be good. But
I probably just don't know a lot of javelin throwers.
Right.
Probably what
yeah,
it is.
that's probably also true. There's not many of them.
Yeah.
But an elbow is a really common injury in javelin. It's the
Oh,
I can see that
tennis
too.
elbow, or
Did you ever hear of Naudi Aguilar?
have not.
So the reason I'm asking about like what type of training you're into is because, as you probably know, right, as many people do, there's so many different ways to work out now.
Yeah.
Like there's so many different types of communities where people preach that their workout regimen is the best way to work out.
Yeah.
So there's obviously the isolation people who are isolating muscles one at a time, like the bicep curls and the tricep extensions and the quad extensions and you're working one simple muscle group at a time.
Yeah.
Then there's people who are more in favor of functional exercises, where you're doing what athletes would be more inclined to do to work the muscles in conjunction, right? So like a power clean, you're jerking with your legs and then you're using your shoulder and you're using some explosion to jerk the bar and to clean it over your shoulders, and you're pressing the bar over your head or whatever. There's functional kinds of exercises like that. A lot of calisthenic exercises are functional, like a pull-up. You're working a lot of the muscles in your back. You're working your forearms. You're working biceps. You're working a lot of different muscles. So those are more functional exercises. And there's this guy, Naudi Aguilar, who has a YouTube channel called Functional Patterns, where he claims that there are certain exercises that you can do based on the primary functions of human beings to produce the most efficient results for an athlete and just a regular human. And some of the workouts are wonky, like they're crazy.
Yeah.
And he has some like legitimate results too. Like he had trained Kyle Dake, who is a Olympic wrestler who was kind of like the arch nemesis of that Jordan Burroughs. And this Burroughs guy would beat him every year. And Burroughs would qualify and he would become the Olympic guy. Just as Kyle Dake began to train with this Naudi Aguilar with functional patterns, he ended up beating Jordan Burroughs and qualifying for the Olympic team.
Yeah.
And some of the exercises are crazy. Like they involve twisting and they involve pulling, and a lot of the exercises involve throwing. Because he claims that human beings were designed to run, walk, and throw.
Okay.
And if you look into it, human beings have evolved to be the best creatures on the planet at throwing, the most accurate and the most far, which is very interesting because you see a lot of people with like scapular winging and kind of imbalances within their shoulder blade muscles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
And that there's different styles of exercising and how people have different philosophies on that stuff and some of the backgrounds behind some of it. You know?
Yeah, and I think that's pretty interesting. You know, exercising historically is a very new thing.
Yeah.
Because,
I
mean, you were trying to survive like back in the day, you know, way back. And now we're just using energy for no reason. We're picking up weights and putting them down. So that's a relatively new thing. So since it's so new, I think we haven't figured it out yet. We don't know what the best ways of doing it are. But I don't know if it's just because I'm starting to get into calisthenics and stuff, but I'm seeing more of this like functional stuff and working out how humans are supposed to move. And I think that's pretty interesting. And I don't know if you've noticed more of that lately or if it's just because.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that recently too. Like, exercise as we know it today is a man-made invention.
Yeah.
It's not something we always did, you know? Like, the way we exercised back then was walking 10 to 15, 20 miles a day and running down an animal for 30-plus miles, you know, hours at a time, and laboring, you know, doing who knows what in those ancient civilizations and stuff that ancient humans did. But so we created a form of exercise now to keep up with a more sedentary modern lifestyle, you know, where we're not necessarily hunting or gathering or fighting to survive anymore, which is very, very fascinating, which is very cool. But this Naudi guy, he would analyze other animals and he would see how a dog runs and how a dog pivots, and he would look at other species and how they naturally perform, what they're naturally inclined to do. And he was trying to apply this same kind of analytical perspective to a human. How is a human supposed to naturally perform? And he says a lot of times some of the exercises that we're performing are taking us away from our natural movements and so on. And he corrects all of these types of imbalances and tons of stuff like that. It's a really cool idea and philosophy. But even you see sometimes people are working out with like the clubs. You ever see that?
Yeah.
People have like the crazy.
Those like on it clubs and shit.
They put tape over their mouth and they're breathing just out of their nose.
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Really
All the
nuts.
different kinds of.
Really
Was it you and I that sat in the gym the one day for like an hour trying to figure out like, or trying to pinpoint like a time era in which people transition from like doing what you were just saying, like hunting and gathering and like labor jobs into working out? Was it you and I that did that?
Yeah.
That's funny, man. And I really do wonder when that like came about.
Yeah. When did we start doing push-ups?
When was the shift?
Like when did we realize like, yo, push-ups will get you bigger, man, and stronger?
But that's what I was saying. Like I genuinely think like calisthenic workouts like that might have always been done by people. Like I believe that's what I was saying that one day. Like maybe even those like real ancient people were still doing things like push-ups and whatnot, because it's just a very easy thing to do. You could do it wherever you want. But I was more or less talking about like modern day, like lifting, like weights. When did that start? I don't know. Like, that kind of interests me.
Yeah. It was very, very interesting. Who knows? I mean, we might have been picking up bark. We might have been picking
probably
up tree stumps, and we,
that's probably how people realize, though, like, this does something. Because you could say, like, just like you were saying, you had to, like, build a house to survive. You're moving wood, rocks, stuff like that. I think people over time realize, like, damn, that shit's really starting to do something to my body.
Right.
So maybe that's how it happened.
And back to the knees over toes thing, too. I remember Ben Patrick speaking about case studies where there were people in different regions of the world who seemed to have better knee and joint health than other areas of the world. And he saw what they were doing for work predominantly. And there was this one area, and it was, I believe, somewhere in Europe. I don't know exactly where it was, but a style of labor was they were hauling lumber. And the way that they would do it was they would tie straps of wood, like via string, and walk backwards up a hill. And they saw that these people's quads and these people's legs and knees were incredibly developed. These people were incredibly healthy in that area. And so he made that correlation, like, well, what if we walk backwards and we walk with like this knee over toe kind of formation, I suppose. It's incredibly beneficial for your knee and joint health and the synovial fluids in your legs and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's crazy how unwilling, like, modern day science and, like, the book creators were, they just didn't accept that as a fact, which is pretty crazy. But, I mean, I don't know. That guy's pretty dope. Have you seen anything about, like, the app he created on iPhone? I mean, it might be everywhere, but I just downloaded it, like, 2 days ago, I believe.
No, is it pretty new?
Yeah, it's very new. I heard about it a week ago. I probably downloaded it, like, 3 days ago. But, yeah, it's Ben Patrick's app for his knees over toes. So it's, like, a complete, like, all the workouts that, like, he recommends people do, and, like, the step-by-steps in which, like, to perform them. So I think it's pretty cool. I got to give it a look the next time I do, like, legs in the gym. So, yeah, it's cool,
man.
So what got you into, like, the reading and stuff? How did that start for you?
That's a good question. I used to read a while back in high school and stuff, and then I kind of stopped for a while.
Yeah.
And I just recently, probably a year ago, got back into it again. But honestly, I don't know. I just kind of got into the mindset of improving myself. And you know, I don't really read nonfiction or fiction, sorry. It's just all like self-improvement stuff. So I would say that I kind of forced myself to get into the habit of reading for the purpose of self-improvement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dope. I tried back in the day to, like, read very often. I would try to do it, like, every day for, like, 15, 20 minutes, just to, like, make sure I was reading every day. But for something in me, I cannot, like, just sit down for too long and, like, feel like I'm not doing anything. So that's always what would, like, stop me from, like, being able to, like, sit down and, like, read a chapter after chapter after chapter of a book. But I'm hoping with that Think and Grow Rich, because, like I was telling you, I've wanted to read that book for a very long time. It's, like, the book that I know the most about, but I've never read even a single page of the book. And I've heard about that book my whole life, so I'm very thankful that you brought that here.
Shout out to Matt. He came and brought us 2 books, which is freaking awesome.
Sick,
Should we show them what they are?
Yeah, let's show them. So we got, go ahead.
We got Be Water, My Friend. It's The Teachings of Bruce Lee by his daughter. So Darrian just read this one, and I'm reading it right now. I'm not quite done. It's an awesome book. And then we got Think and Grow Rich that Kevin was just talking about. Should I show the camera?
Yeah, go for it.
Can they see that?
Yeah,
Probably not.
They should be able to.
Think and Grow Rich. That's a good one, too. I read it twice. The first time I read it was probably 5 years ago. I had no idea what the hell it meant.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, you're talking about auto-suggestion. And, like, you could do things with your mind. And I was like, what is all this? And then I, you know, got onto that self-improvement path or whatever. And I read it again, like, 2 years later. And I'm like, okay. I've been seeing this in my life, and it starts to make sense. So, you know, it's definitely worth reading more than once.
So was there something that pushed you to say, I need to improve myself? Like, was there maybe a low self-esteem, or was there something going on in your life that made you think, I need to be a better person?
Absolutely, yeah. So in 8th grade, I was annoying. I didn't really have many friends. And I, this is pretty funny, actually. So one day I went to school. I was kind of chubby. I went to school, and I was asking my friends, do you think I have man boobs? I swear to God, man. And I was kind of in denial. I didn't think I did.
Oh man.
And all of them said yes.
Oh no.
And I got home that night, and I was so like, I was mad, I was sad, and I was
Yeah.
like, man, I gotta change myself, because I honestly, I had played sports, Little League and whatever when I was a kid, and it just got to that point, and I never realized it. So I got home that day, and I had a punching bag, and I just let it rip on the punching bag, and then started doing sit-ups and push-ups, and that was when I was 13 or 14. And
yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool because I think to be intuitive may be a certain character trait of people.
yeah,
And I think it's also something you can develop. But I think for as long as I can remember, I was always intuitive. I was always intuitive and also introspective.
self-aware.
Yeah, self-aware.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes you lose, sight of that a little bit, and it's still always there. So as you're going through life and you are kind of doing some dumb shit, or you maybe having an odd perspective, you could analyze yourself, and you can analyze like your view,
Yeah.
and that's a certain type of person to say, well, maybe I could change this. Maybe I could be better at this. Maybe I could improve myself in these areas. This is where I lack. This is where I'm pretty good,
Yeah.
and then use those skills and grow those skills and harness them to create something,
Yeah.
which is pretty damn cool. And you seem like I think it takes an introspective person to think in that way,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I believe most people genuinely just run from that stuff.
Yeah.
Like they realize a fault in their own character and like to hide it with something, whether that be like going out on the weekend and partying or whatnot. Self-development is a hard thing, I think, for a lot of people because they don't want to look themselves like in the mirror and realize what they're doing is wrong because nobody wants to be wrong.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it
absolutely.
is.
And it's very uncomfortable in yourself too, and that's like where I think most people find their like safe haven is like within themselves, and they don't know how to react when their self isn't okay and it's not good and things aren't going right.
Yeah.
I think though, like the currency for growth is struggle,
I completely agree.
Absolutely.
and it is discomfort.
Yes.
And
And
we're seeking discomfort.
exactly. And I was just going to say something about Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
So he talks about how there's a difference if you voluntarily face struggle or if it just is kind of thrust upon you. You know what I mean? So if you face it voluntarily, like actually chemically in your brain, there's a difference. So I think a big part of just living the right life is seeking out, there, seek discomfort. I think it's seeking discomfort, and it doesn't have to be crazy. I mean, it could be incremental, but you have to do that.
Yeah, man. And so you're an example of that. So you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and you introduce yourself to new stimulating things that might include struggle.
Yeah.
Certainly include struggle. Like
Absolutely.
you're doing Spartan races now.
Yes.
Oh
Yes,
wow.
So
man.
how many Spartan races have you done so far? And also, Kev, we signed you up for a Spartan race.
Oh fuck my life.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. When is it?
It's a trifecta weekend. We got you on the 21, the 10, and the 5. So.
I don't even understand what
And
any
it's
of that
September
means.
10th.
September 10th.
Yes.
Oh Jesus.
In New York.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like this September 10th coming
Yes.
up. Wow. Okay. Nice. So does anybody want to describe to me what any of that
so
means?
Talk to me
will,
about
yeah.
your beginning doing Spartan races and stuff like that. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so the first Spartan race I did was, I think, 3 years ago, and it was just a sprint. So the sprint is a 5K, 20 obstacles or something like that. And I can't really remember why I did it. Maybe it was just the seek discomfort thing. I don't know if I was really developed enough 3 years ago to know that I was seeking that discomfort.
Yeah.
I can't really tell you why I did it, to be honest. But this year, I started doing it again. I just heard about it, and I was like, oh, I haven't done one of those. So as of right now, I'm up to 4 Spartan races this year and 2 Tough Mudders.
Oh,
So
okay.
I did 2 21K Spartan races, 1 5K Spartan race, 1 10K, and then 2 15K Tough Mudders. So they're pretty much the same thing. It's just a run in the mud, on the hills, obstacles, and the biggest difference is the Tough Mudders, you get electrocuted.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen that?
Is that its own thing, or is that Brendan Schaub's event?
That's its own thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard him talking about that.
I
yeah.
heard him talking a lot about those Tough Mudders thing. And I was really interested in that. And I did hear about like the tasing or the zapping, whatever you call it, from like the barbed wires or whatever. I always thought that shit was insane.
It's terrible.
You gotta be a crazy person to go.
You're like
do some
crawling,
shit
like
that.
army crawling through mud and
Yeah.
shit. Like the barbed wires above your head. You
So-
can't get zapped.
So what's the preparation like for something like that? Are you training, or do you have a regiment like to put yourself in that situation or prepare yourself for something like that?
No. Honestly,
Raw
I hate
dogging it?
running.
Oh, yeah.
I hate running. I don't run by myself.
That's where I am.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think I really only do it for the discomfort of it. Now there is like a sense of accomplishment and whatnot.
Yeah.
So when I think about it, I get excited to do it. But yeah, I don't run by myself. I don't train for it. And I just kind of go and do it. And I also kind of take pride in that, in the not training for it, just doing it for that purpose.
So while you're doing these type of events, what's your thought process like?
I hate this.
Do you hear?
I'm not even joking.
Yeah. Do you hear that little voice in your head that says, "Matt, I gotta stop doing this, man"?
Yeah, every time.
I
I'm
gotta get
serious.
outta here.
Sit down, take a break.
Yeah,
You don't
every
gotta
time
do
I'm like, I'm
this.
not doing this again. Why did I do this again?
Yeah.
And then, as soon as it's over, then you want to do it again. It's like an
Yeah.
addiction kind of. I don't know.
Right. See, I did. I read "Can't Hurt Me" by David Goggins.
Great book.
And this is what I'm trying to explain to Kev, bro, is like some books have so much power, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
So like I'm a person who hated running. Every time we had to run gassers at practice, I was literally the first kid cursing, and bitching and put my head down and complaining and stuff.
Yeah.
I read that book and I was running 6 to 7 miles a day. And it was like weird. Like it was crazy. And then he conveniently put out his 4x4x48 challenge where you run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours straight.
Wow.
And I was like, damn, I can't not do this. Like I have to do this now. And I did it. And it was like the craziest 2 days of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. Like
I remember how down bad you were when you were finished with
yes,
it.
bro.
Though.
Yeah,
Jeez.
my knees were all banged up, and that dude runs 20 to fucking 15 miles a day.
Yeah.
Like, think about what he's going through and stuff, right? Him and like Cam Haynes and stuff. But I remember, dude, I came home, I would eat like a PB&J and just lay in my bed, didn't shower for 2 days straight, and my bed sheets were like black, like they were just disgusting. I was watching iCarly episodes, just thinking about life, like, damn, what did I sign up for?
Oh my God, the chemicals of your mind were probably so fucked up. You didn't know what was going on.
But I'm sure you can relate. Like after you finish something like that, your mind gets a little stronger.
Yeah, absolutely.
You start to think like, what can't I do?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And like I said, that first, I don't know if I did say this actually, the first 5K that I did, I was like, 5K, that's a lot. I don't know if I could ever do more than that. And next thing I know, 3 years later, I'm doing 21Ks. And I feel like I could push it farther. There's 50Ks.
Yeah. Wait, how many
That's a
miles
lot.
is that?
The 21 is about 13 miles, a little more.
So like a half a marathon.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
50K, that's a marathon.
Oh.
In the woods, in the
brother.
mud, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
insane.
think a marathon is something I got to do in my life. While I was on that wavelength, I suppose, I had a challenge and I ran 10 miles. That was the furthest I've ever run.
10?
And I ran 10 miles by myself. And yeah, that was pretty crazy. But it was something I didn't believe I can do.
Yeah.
Like I was like, no way I'm running 10 miles. No way. And then you do it and you're like, what else can I do?
Yeah. Honestly, I felt like the 7th mile was the easiest for me. Like you kind of catch that second wave and you just float.
That runner's high kind of,
Yeah.
right?
And
it's
then-
kind of cool. It's like a form of meditation in a
Yeah,
way.
absolutely.
Like running? Yeah.
Yeah.
It is cool, man. So you're doing Spartan races and you're challenging yourself in that way. And I think that that's a cool way to look at it too. Is like each person or most people have their own preferred kind of struggle.
Yeah.
Some people prefer intellectual struggle, you know, like certain problems to solve, and it could be an analytical problem. It could be a chess pattern problem.
It's
It
like
can
kind of how I am.
be- yeah.
I like those things.
Some people like the physical challenges. I'm one of those people. I think, Matt, you're probably one of those people.
Yeah.
Persons too. The physical challenges. So you're doing Spartan races and Tough Mudders, and you got into jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
So how the hell did you decide I'm gonna go fucking grapple with people and try to choke people unconscious?
Get my ass beat for a
Yeah.
month?
Yeah.
Well, I had
Which
a
is,
friend.
I'm sure, uncomfortable, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's why I've grown so much this past month, because it was very uncomfortable. I think the more uncomfortable it is, if you can handle it, then
Yeah.
you're gonna grow more. But I had just always thought that MMA was cool, like watching fights and stuff. It's
Yeah.
just a cool thing. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just, I guess, dudes like that kind of stuff. So I didn't really know that there was like a place that you could do it around here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I'll never be able to do that. But you know, Blake introduced me to it.
Yeah, my
I've
guy.
been
Shout out Blake Star.
Yeah, my God, I love that man. I've been friends with him
right now, slinging the birds.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
Is that the guy we were doing the games
the
with?
surfer?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He is.
Yeah, so I've been friends with him for a long time, and he told me that he was doing this, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll try it. And then I put it off for like 2 weeks. I shouldn't have done that. But now I love it, man. Like the first 2 or 3 weeks of it, I was like, I don't know how long I could do this for. This is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got my first submission, and I was like, okay, I like this. I want to do this. Yeah.
Who'd you
So,
get? Or what would you get him with?
I got him with a Kimura.
Oh yeah, the Kimura
my
lock.
God.
Yep.
You should see, like, when I see him every day when he comes back, like from jujitsu, it's always hit or miss. Like, damn, like I got fucked up today, or like, yo, like, bro, you gotta come down to jujitsu next week. Like, I had the best day there today.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, it's such a struggle that sport. It seems like, yeah.
There's highs and lows to
Yep.
it for sure. But with all the lows comes a bunch of highs.
Yeah.
Like that's the currency.
Yep.
Gives you room to grow.
Yeah, for sure. So that's dope, man. Martial arts, working out, Spartan races, and you're a software engineer.
Yes.
So
How do those go?
yeah,
hand in
yeah,
hand?
yeah.
Like,
How
how does
did,
that happen?
yeah, right. Like, how did you connect all those things? How did you get into technology and being an engineer?
Yeah, so that's also an interesting story. So,
Were
take
you
it back
always
to-
inclined to tech stuff when you were younger?
No.
Games, stuff like that?
No, I don't play video games at all. Like I'm not into that stuff really. Like I don't even like mess around with like building computers and stuff. Like I don't really do that. It's odd. I just do the software stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So back in 10th grade, I was just kind of finally starting to get fit and stuff, kind of getting into this whole lifestyle that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to create a fitness account / website on Instagram. So
cool.
it was called BDV. Yeah.
What's that?
DV's just like some slang word in Australia to mean like awesome or something. I
DV?
don't know.
I didn't know that. Are
I
you
think so.
Australian?
I'm
I
not
don't know.
Australian.
Are you Australian?
No. I don't know. I just looked it up like I looked up
Picked
like
it.
cool words or something. I don't know.
All right, cool.
So we all start.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just started off posting just stupid stuff like pictures of like beautiful lakes and be like, wow, would you guys like to go here? And then it was lifestyle at first.
Sure. Okay.
And then it kind of switched to fitness because that's what I was interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like posting other people's infographics and stuff, you know,
Okay.
the infographics.
Yeah.
And then I started making my own. And then a big step was getting the confidence to post myself on there. So
Mhm.
nobody knew what I looked like.
Mhm.
And then I finally posted myself on there. And that was a big step. And then I kept doing that for a while, making infographics and posting pictures of myself and my progress and whatever. And I got it up to over 2,000 followers, but I hated it because I was doing Gary V's, what is it, the 180 method or whatever. Have you heard of that?
No, I don't know. What is that?
So it's like you leave your 2 cents on 90 posts. You go to like, I think 9 different hashtags and go to like the popular ones and then leave a thoughtful comment on 10 posts. That takes a long ass time and
Yeah.
you're supposed to do that every day. So I was doing that and I hated it because I was just so pressed for time. So I eventually ended up selling that for that Instagram account for $100. But and I didn't even get into the part about the website. So alongside of that was a website that I tried to sell like fitness plans that I would make for people.
Mm-hmm.
I really never sold any. I gave one away for free just to try to to get it out there, but I never got to the point where I was selling them. And some t-shirts and stuff. That was kind of stupid. But so yeah, I wanted to find a way to make this website. So I did it on something called Wix. It's just like a website builder.
Sure,
I didn't
yeah.
know what I was doing.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. And then they have like this Wix script that you can do. You could write code to make things work better and kind of make them more interactive. And I just wrote this 1,000-line this 1,000-line file of code that was like doing these things, and it was so inefficient. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like copy and pasting stuff off the internet, and it just didn't really work. So I was like, it would probably help if I knew how to do this. So that pretty much started it, and then I started learning in study hall. I used my Chromebook. Did you guys get Chromebooks?
Yeah.
Wasn't privileged enough in
Myers
MHS.
Myers High School. They didn't. They didn't have
Our
the
books are
Chromebooks
from the
for us.
1800s.
Yeah. Okay. I was part of the pilot program because I was in honors biology. So for some reason they gave us the first like flight of them. It was just one class.
Okay.
So I was using that little Chromebook that was like a rock. Like it was so slow and just awful.
Yeah.
But I was using that, and I bought courses online, and I was learning during study hall how to code. And then I just loved it, so I started picking that up, and then I started building websites for just people that I knew and stuff. And then fast forward to college, I knew what I was doing pretty well with the software at this point, and I went to Pitt. I was going to throw javelin at Pitt, and I was there for 3 weeks, and then, you know, with COVID and stuff, I couldn't leave my apartment. We were told if you were caught outside without wearing a mask, that you were going to get kicked off the team. So I was like sitting in my apartment for 24 hours a day. I mean, I could leave to go get food or something, but I just got like really depressed and I didn't want to be there anymore. So that was my plan all through high school, was to go to Pitt and throw javelin. And I kind of had this little thing on the side, this software thing that I liked. And I went to Pitt for engineering and then immediately switched it to software engineering. But anyway, I left Pitt after 3 weeks, which at the time was awful to me. I thought it was terrible. I was like, because, you know, it was what I'd been planning on for 4 years. But it was actually a blessing because I came home. I went to community college for the rest of that semester. I was just like devastated. I didn't know what I was doing. And then I found an online course. It's called a software engineering boot camp. It's called Hack Reactor.
Cool.
So what that is it's 3 days a week online, and you get a certificate that proves that you know how to code. So it's like you get that piece of paper. You know, you can't just like tell people like, I know how to code and then get a job. So then I pursued that. That took 9 months, and I had class from 8 o'clock at night to midnight, or 9 o'clock, sorry. 9 o'clock to midnight.
College.
No.
This was
just with this
after the
course.
with the course.
Gotcha.
Because it's hosted in California. So for them, that was 6 to 9. But for me, that was 9 to midnight.
Got it.
And at that point, I was working a lawn care job. So I was doing class until midnight, waking up and going to work at 7, and then, you know, just trying to juggle all that. So that was tough. And it was noon to 5 on Saturdays. So I had no Saturday to do anything. Yeah, so that was 9 months. Then I got my certificate, and I was able to get an internship at a company here in Wilkes-Barre. And then from internship, I went to part-time, and then a part-time to full-time. So that's what I'm doing now.
Full-time software engineer.
Well, our position is called programmer, but it's the same thing.
And who did you do the internship for?
The same company.
Okay.
So how many years into that whole game are you now? You said you started your sophomore year in high school. So how old are you now?
I am 20. Let's see. How many years am I out of high school? 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be my junior year of college.
Same thing for me. I'm 20 as well. I graduated in 2020. So, well, I was going to say, because your website's pretty fucking legit for only to be 3 years into the game. Like everything you could do on your website and whatnot.
Yeah, it is.
Like that's one thing. I had a friend that like was really good at coding and stuff as well. And he had like put me on all like the ways of telling like whether or not like a website was legit, like all the different things you could do on it, just how it looked, like everything about websites and what makes them legit. And I was able to tell like in the 5 minutes of him showing me your website a couple weeks ago that like, yeah, your website's pretty fucking legit, man. That's pretty cool.
That. Thank you.
We were just on it yesterday. We were playing with the night mode and day mode.
Oh, yeah.
I think like shit like that's sick, man. Like not a lot of websites have that. And you even notice like a lot of big corporations will have websites that are pretty shitty. Like funny enough, like on the topic, UFC's website, I do not think is good at all.
Really?
Like, yeah, UFC's, and for how big their corporation is and how much money they make, I would assume that it would be 10 times better. But I think your website's better than UFC's website.
Well, it's probably got less content, but I appreciate that anyway.
No, I mean, I don't know. It always surprised me, though. It's a really hard field. So I would imagine, like, there's a finite number of people that you can get to really do something like that if you don't have all the money. But yeah, I always wondered why like certain websites that had a lot of like financial backing were always so shitty. But like normal like regular people that I knew that were able to code and stuff always were able to make better websites. It just never made sense to me.
Yeah, I think part of that is just not having a good in-house team.
Yeah.
Because if you outsource the website, then you're going to have to, you know, keep going back to them if you need something changed. And that's just like, that just creates friction. So it's better in the long run to have an in-house team, but then that's expensive. You have to pay those people.
Yeah.
So.
better how to know, or it's better to know how to do it yourself as well, I'd imagine, because you'd be able to put like more passion and effort into it if it's for you, rather than like you're saying just paying somebody else to do it, who may or may not know like your vision for like the website or like what you're trying to do with it. So I guess I could see how that would make sense as well.
Yeah, for sure. And that's like your public facing, like that's your main thing. So
Yeah.
for me, I take a lot of pride in that because it's like that's my name. You know, like MatthewSaxe.com, that's the name. So I just wanted to make that website, you know, just really showcase what I was all about, and I take a lot of pride in that.
Did you ever think of transitioning into like a freelancing kind of like business of your own, like selling people custom websites?
Yeah, so I do that a little bit on the side. I don't really get many customers because I don't pursue it because I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I've gotten like 3 clients in the past year, so, and it's all right. I don't really like it as much as doing stuff for myself, though.
Yeah, we were just with Josh from Fame.
Yeah.
We did a podcast with, and he has a lot of cool stuff going on right now. He's literally building an empire as we speak, and we were telling about you, and he said to let him know how you are because he's interested in innovating his website.
Okay.
This guy's a savage.
Yeah.
Fame Strength.
Super savage.
Podcast
With him.
I think number 14 we just did
Mhm.
was with him and his gym. He has a location in Dallas. That's like where we are just at with him. We were actually helping. I don't know how much we should say about it, but he's looking into getting into podcasting. So we were just down there helping him out. Yeah, and he had mentioned your name. And that guy like literally is a savage. Like he's saying he's building an empire every day down there. That guy's, he got some big things coming for this world. And I'm happy to be like working with that guy.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's cool, man. So what can you do? Like, what can you code? Can you just do websites, or have you ever have any experience with like apps or anything like that?
Yeah, so it gets pretty complicated talking about this stuff, but I can do apps in like a limited sense. There's a thing called React Native. This is stuff that you would only know about if you were like a software engineer. But basically, what that allows you to do is, you know, a language that you write websites in, and then it can translate it to an app. So, you know, I know that, but I don't really know like the native languages to write Android and iOS apps. I would like to learn, but right now I'm really getting into like cryptocurrency and smart contracts.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Which is like NFT shit too, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm trying to build my own personal NFT marketplace. Not even to sell NFTs or make money or anything. I just want to show that I can do it and like just sell them for really cheap on my site for fun.
So what got you into that? Are you like, were you a long-time investor? I know I heard you just mention that before, like earlier in the podcast, that you were an investor. How long have you been doing that for?
Yeah, I've been investing since I was 16, or no, maybe 15. Because I think when you're 16, you can get a custodial account. Are you familiar with that?
A brokerage account, you mean, or is it like a sub brokerage account?
Yeah, so a custodial account is you're not old enough to have like a legit account yet, so you need a parent or a guardian to like co-sign or whatever. And so my dad had to like approve all my trades and stuff. So that was just stocks when I was 15, and then I want to say in 2020 I got into cryptocurrency. I bought like $20 of like all of them just to see what would work, and I think they all went down, and then I sold them. But
that's what happened to me.
But after that, I really got into it. Yeah, right.
Coming out of high school, because like 2020 was like right before the right before the pandemic is like when I got heavily invested into like cryptocurrencies and stuff like that as well. And I rode them out for a long time, but I think it was around like the late 2020 and the early 2021 phase. Just that's when our entire economy went pretty down bad. So
yeah,
I lost a lot of money in crypto, and I pulled all out. So
yeah, well, I'm back in.
Yeah.
I pretty much have like my income automated. So every time I get a paycheck, there's automatic buys on cryptocurrency and stocks. So
cool. So it's like you're paying yourself first. It's kind of that idea, right?
Exactly.
So are you able to speak about what your investment portfolio kind of looks like or not?
Yeah, sure. You know, I'm not as into stocks as I am into crypto because I know how crypto works. Like, I like the science of it, the computer science.
Let's talk crypto then. So
okay,
come on,
let's talk crypto. So, I mean, how sciencey do you want to get here? Do you want to know how Bitcoin works?
Well, what's your portfolio look like?
Okay, so my portfolio is, my top holding is Ethereum.
Me too.
Okay. Which is the #1 crypto used on the blockchain and to buy NFTs, correct?
Correct.
Cool.
Yes. It was wasn't the second crypto, but it was the first smart contract platform. So a smart contract is just a layer of a blockchain that can allow you to run code. So like Bitcoin is literally you just send it to people, but Ethereum allows you to create applications on the blockchain.
Right. So that smart contract allows holders of NFTs to create like royalty contracts on it as well too, right? So if
Correct.
I were to create an NFT and Kevin were to buy it and I were to set in place a royalty contract, when he sells it to you, I would still make a percentage of my royalties, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's what a smart contract kind of entails, right?
Well, on a basic level, a smart contract is literally just a piece of code that you can write that executes when certain conditions are met. That's all it is.
Okay.
So essentially, like, if I send Ethereum to this address, then this code will execute. And there's just so much that you can do with that because, you know, people are smart, people write their own code. So you can take very simple building blocks and build complex things. So that's what NFTs are.
Cool. Okay, so your number one holder is Ethereum.
Yes.
And then?
Number 2 is Bitcoin.
Bitcoin,
the big Bitcoin.
Yeah, okay.
Number 3 is XRP.
Okay, I'm not familiar with XRP.
XRP is by a company called Ripple, and they're aiming to be a payment system for banks. So this is really interesting.
Okay,
it's
cool.
It's not aimed at people. It's
Okay.
aimed at banks. So there's a thing called on-demand liquidity. So if, let's say a bank in America is trying to send money to a bank in China, it takes time to go from U.S. dollars to yen. Yeah, there you go. It takes time to do that. It takes time to settle. You know, that takes days. I believe the system's called SWIFT now. That's what all the banks use. But this will allow you to send it almost instantly, and they will have liquidity immediately available in Chinese yens. So, I mean, there's already banks that are adopting it and stuff. So it's a pretty interesting read if you want to.
XRP is a platform designed to help banks instantaneously be able to transfer currencies.
Correct.
Like global banks.
Yes.
And it's in the form of crypto. I'm imagining.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on a blockchain.
That's one of those. XRP is what it's called. That's one of those cryptos that substitute teacher that worked at Solomon the one day I talked to was telling me about.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
A while back.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And
okay.
I'd have to I'll look at my
man,
phone and look
absolutely.
at the
Yeah, go for it.
portfolio.
Are you on Robinhood or do you do Ameritrade or what do you trade on?
Coinbase?
Yeah, so I used to be on Robinhood, and then I transferred it all to other stuff. And this gets pretty complicated, but I have like 6 wallets now.
Okay.
Because, you know, there's custodial. This is a different use of the word custodial, actually. There's custodial and non-custodial crypto accounts. So, oh man, this gets pretty complicated. Let me look at the portfolio quick. I'll read off some stuff, and then I'll explain custodial and non-custodial.
Cool.
All right, so I got Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, Cardano. You like
Okay,
Cardano?
I hear about
Never
Cardano
heard of
too.
that.
I heard about Cardano. What is that one about?
It's just a really solid, like, down to basics smart contract platform. The guy who runs it is like really deeply rooted in computer science and what do they call that? Peer review. So it's like they take a long time to release features, but they're gonna work because they really
He'll do this.
yeah. So they're really locked into doing it right. Then I got Chainlink,
Which is?
that's on the Ethereum blockchain, and it's a way to get data from the internet onto the blockchain. It's pretty complicated how that actually works, but they're called oracles, and it's like a way to access real-time data on the blockchain.
Okay.
Then I got Matic, Polygon. That's just like super fast, solid blockchain. Then I got Quantum.
Damn, hella cryptocurrency, huh?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of them.
Is there a reason you shy away from like stock investments, trading, or anything like that?
I don't shy away from it. Like, I put almost as much in stocks as I do cryptocurrency. I just don't do as much research.
Okay.
I just rather dump it in like a dividend-paying index fund.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
So what type of stocks are you interested in?
yeah. So, well, I do a little bit of tech stocks, and then my biggest thing is just I believe it's SCHD. It's like a 3% dividend ETF. just dump a bunch. in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. That's
it's-
all I'm really invested into is the S&P 500,
Yeah.
Vanguard Total
Long-term.
Stock Market, and Coca-Cola.
Yep.
all I
Coca-Cola's a
do,
good
yep.
one.
Yeah, it is
Loves
a good one.
Coca-Cola. Doesn't even drink it.
Yeah, I don't even drink. Well, if I do drink soda, it's going to be Coke. You better believe it. Or
Better
Just get on the
believe
podcast like
Yeah.
Warren Buffett.
yes,
Yeah.
that's where I got the idea from.
Yeah.
For 50 solid years, they've increased their dividend,
Yeah.
Yeah.
their yield of dividend, which is pretty damn good. And their stock has grown significantly over time.
Mm.
It's at like 60 some dollars right now. 64
Yeah.
bucks. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I got to get more back into it. When I originally got into investing, I was like a really dumb kid, so I was into the
So, Kevin, tell your investment story.
let's not fucking take it that far, but no, I was a big dummy when I first got into it, and I almost looked at it as a way to like get rich quick, which in retrospect I definitely shouldn't have treated it that way because I lost a whole bunch of money that way. But I think it's a good learning experience because it made me interested in investing money and trying to turn profits off of smaller amounts of money. And it did work. Like for a very long time, I would say I was like day trading a lot of like Ethereum, and what he is referring to is the whole Dogecoin thing. I got into that and I lost a whole lot of money on that. That's fine. Fuck Doge. Forget about it. I don't. Whatever. But yeah, I mean, it was a big learning curve for me because now, like, I would say I'm a lot more knowledgeable and interested in doing it now, but I'm a lot more weary of where I put my money. So like I take it a lot more seriously now than I did back then. I was just willing to throw my money wherever, like whatever looked beneficial at the time, and I lost a lot of money that way. So
Absolutely. Same here. I mean, I think one of the important steps of becoming a good investor is losing like half of your money.
yes, and you
Like,
always hear
honestly.
that too, and you never like, especially at the time I was young and dumb, like I said, and I never thought that that was a possibility.
Yep.
And when I was there, I was making a lot of money, so I had another reason to believe that that wasn't going to be possible until it became possible, and that was my reality, and I got out of it for a very long time. But yeah, now I guess I'm just primarily invested in like a lot of ETFs and then just Ethereum, just raw Ethereum. That's all I invest in.
Yeah. Ethereum's a good
Crypto
one.
Y.
So, going back to books, have you ever heard of a book called The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham?
Yep, I read that.
Have you read it?
Yep.
And so this is about value investing,
Yes.
right? I haven't read it. I've done some research on the book. But so you read that book.
Yeah.
What was that really about? Like value investing?
Honestly, it's pretty boring. It's outdated because it's like from the 40s, but a lot of it is looking at different stocks and looking at the metrics of them and how to determine whether that's a good buy or not. So
Okay.
rather than just looking at the historical price, you know, that has nothing to do with what it's going to do in the future. So you're actually looking at the business itself. You're looking at the management,
Right.
you know, metrics like that.
Right.
So that's probably the second half of the book. And then the first half of the book is like, I don't remember. I'm going to be honest
Cool.
with you.
I got to get back into this trading thing though, man. Like this whole conversation's refiring me up because it's like one of those things where I kind of just put it in the back burner. But like, I guess that whole year of my life, 2020, like before I got into this, actually, that's like all I focused my time on was investing and trading. I was on Reddit and YouTube all day, like just watching and like watching and watching and watching. Then I got big out of it for a very long time. Like I'm really not involved in the investment scene, like hands-on really much these days at all.
Yeah. Now's the time to buy. I mean,
Yeah, man.
people get excited when it's going up, but
Yeah.
that's when you should get scared, when other people are getting excited. So I think now's a really good time to just dollar cost average. So
Yeah, they say buy when there's blood in the streets.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Have you ever heard of an economist named Peter Schiff?
I have. I can't really tell you what he says, but I've
Peter
heard of him.
Schiff is like completely anti-Bitcoin and anti-crypto.
Oh man.
What's the
And
reasoning?
I think it's because he was really in favor, and he's really against. I think I don't know what year this was, but we did this some time ago where we took. You'll probably know the actual vocabulary for it. It slipped my mind. It's slipped my mind right now, but it's where we took the value from our money off of gold, the gold standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Right.
Standard. Yep.
And now the value of our money is based off of debt, correct?
Yeah. So we're a fiat currency now. So
Yeah.
the only reason the U.S. dollar has any value is because we believe it has value.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what makes you believe in crypto?
Well, I would say it's different for different cryptos.
Because crypto is similar as well. I mean, some of the cryptos have like value based on their blockchain presence and stuff like that too, but aren't some of these cryptos predominantly valuable because we believe they're valuable?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah.
Right?
The thing with Bitcoin is it's a scarce asset, so there's only ever going to be 21 million.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand how the issuance schedule works with Bitcoin?
No, I don't know,
Okay.
actually.
So when Bitcoin first started in 2009, I believe, when a miner mined a block, now that we can get to that later, the mining.
Yeah.
When a miner mined a block, they would get 50 Bitcoins. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's insane.
50. Okay, and then after 4 years, it dropped to 25. Then it dropped to 12 and a half.
A block?
Yes.
A block
So
of what?
block in the blockchain.
Yeah.
So I'll explain that
Oh, okay.
in a minute if you want.
It's like some Minecraft shit. Right? Okay.
Minecraft's a good
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
I love
Okay.
Minecraft.
Okay. So go ahead.
Yeah, so so when they mined a block, they got 50 Bitcoin, and then after 4 years it dropped to 25. And then after another 4 years it dropped to 12 and a half, and then to 6 1/4. So it's going to continue to do that every 4 years until it turns off in like, I don't know, 120 years or something. But
And it's scheduled to do that?
Well,
yes.
To turn off?
I heard at one point that we are about 90% through Bitcoin, and we only have about 10% of Bitcoin left to the free market, and by like 2030 to 2040, it can be just about all taken. That's like I was told that once.
Well, the issuance schedule is logarithmic. So if you look at it on a graph, it like goes up, and then as it continues to go to the right, it's flattening out. So, every 4 years is the halvening, they call it. So, once you take putting 6 1/4 Bitcoin, which is what we're at right now. Once you take 6 1/4 Bitcoin, every 10 minutes, and you're putting that into the supply, and then you're going to put 3.125, like that drops the new issuance by 50%. So then it becomes more scarce. People can't get their hands on it, and that drives value up. So that was the reason that they did that.
And we don't know who created Bitcoin.
No.
Do you
have
think he's out there?
ideas,
Do you have an idea?
I do.
What do you think?
I don't remember his name. It's
Satoshi?
Yeah. Well, that's
That's
what
like
do they call that?
it's like a John Doe kind of.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
It's like
Okay.
they don't know that that's who created it, but that's like kind of who they throw it on.
Yeah. So I heard this interesting thing about this Russian guy named Sergey something. It's his first name starts with an S, and his last name starts with an N, like Satoshi Nakamoto. So, and he is involved in Chainlink and Ethereum and stuff. So
Those
there's
Russians get
speculation.
down with the crypto. What about that one guy? What's his name? Ivan is the guy that created Ethereum, the real young
Yeah.
kid.
Vitalik.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
He was just on Lex Friedman's show not too long ago, the podcast, and
Oh,
I've
really?
been meaning to check that out. Yeah, you into his show at all, Lex Friedman?
A little bit. I've seen him here and there.
Yeah, well, he just had him on not too long ago. I've been waiting to check that one out. That guy's an interesting character. 'Cause he's a real young kid, man. And he's probably fucking loaded.
Oh, he's a billionaire by far. Yeah.
God, I can't even imagine. But back into like what
Yeah.
you were saying, though,
So
about the
you were talking about like your belief in crypto.
Yeah. So, number one, it's fast. I could send you crypto across the world in a couple seconds. Like Ethereum is kind of slow right now, but they're working through that. They're making upgrades and stuff. But what it will be is very fast. Very fast transactions anywhere in the world. Also, it's infinitely divisible, right? So all I can give you, if you give me something that's worth a half of a cent, all I can give you is a cent, right? I can't break that down anymore. But crypto is infinitely divisible. So Bitcoin can be worth $1 trillion, and you can still break it down small enough that it's transactable, right? And that we can, you can give me a candy bar. So that's one aspect of it. That's two aspects of it, actually. The scarcity aspect, that's with Bitcoin and with some other ones. Not all of them are actually scarce, like Dogecoin.
Yeah. Fuck Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Dogecoin K.
Yeah.
To the moon.
Yeah.
What about you? You have any fucking bad stunts with Dogecoin, or you were just smarter than I was at that
Oh, no,
point?
I bought into Dogecoin as
okay.
it was going straight up. I did make a little bit of money because
I
I
did
panicked
too.
and sold it and then never got back into it. So
I made about $1,000 my first go with the Bitcoin, and then what had happened for me was, and I'm sure, no, not Bitcoin, Dogecoin, my bad. I'm sure you might remember this time. It was right around 420 in 2020, And this specific day was actually 4/19. I remember my friend Brian, shout out Brian. We were both sitting in my friend Jake's basement, and we were both big investors in Dogecoin at the time. Like I said, I had made about 1,000. I was probably playing with around like 2 to 3 though, with just Doge. And I remember Elon Musk was shouting it out crazy. This is like a really wild time of life, like thinking back on it. But I remember he was tweeting about it crazy, and then he was like 420. 420 was going to be called Doge Day. It was going to be the day that they tried to push for Dogecoin to make it to $1. So that day, it was 4/19. I had put in, like I said, probably like $2,000 to $3,000 into Dogecoin, and it did the complete opposite, and it dropped all the way down. And I still never completely recovered from just that initial Dogecoin loss. And I wrote it back up for quite a while. And I made a good amount of that money back. I would say probably about 2/3 of the money I had made back in its second spike. But this was probably like a year later.
Yeah.
And, well, yeah, that was my experience with Dogecoin. But
Yeah. Buy the rumor, sell the news.
Buy the rumor, sell the news. I like that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a common saying in the investor world.
Wow. So, man, this is pretty interesting. So you're pretty big into this then.
I am, yes.
So you do your due diligence here.
Yeah, like I want to work in it eventually. Yeah.
So you're building an NFT marketplace.
Yeah, for fun. But yeah.
So what's that going to be like?
So it's just going to be a page on my website. It's going to be nft.matthewsaxe.com.
Yeah, I see on the website it says NFTs coming soon or something like that, right?
Yeah. So it's just going to be a screen where you can see the pictures. I don't know where I'm going to get the pictures from yet.
You can draw them. Can you
maybe.
draw?
Kinda.
Cool.
Stick figures and stuff.
Like, you ever see V-Friends?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wanted to buy one of those, but I don't have enough.
Do you have any NFTs?
I do.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
What do you got?
I have an MFer.
No, what is that?
that sounds funny.
Do you want to see this?
Yes, please.
Yeah, fuck
Yes,
yeah,
dude.
show me. But is there any way like you would be able to like code, let's say like an algorithm to be able to create you like digitally generated pictures?
Yes. That's a big thing. Well, I mean, not the full picture unless you're using AI.
Yeah.
But you can like draw the different parts, and then they call it. Oh my god, I can't remember the name. It's escaping my mind right now. But like they'll draw the different parts. Like let's say you draw 10 hats and then 10 faces and whatever, and it will just randomly like create those.
Nice.
That's cool.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, all that AI like generating stuff, that's a pretty wild thing. He actually put me onto that recently. Just being able to shoot like words to an AI generator and like what it'll come out with. I think that shit is mind blowing.
You ever see AI art?
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
It's
There's
like
a TikTok page called AI Overload. And what they do is they ask AI like these questions like how will the world end?
Oh,
And it'll generate a ton of cool pictures or who killed Kennedy. And it'll generate like pictures of who the AI speculated.
or
did.
just anything. Like it'll just come up with a picture, and I guess it's kind of left up to your interpretation. But you can really ask it anything. You can ask what the weather will be like the next year. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So let's see this NFT. You got it?
Okay, this is
EMFer.
crazy when you realize that this is actually worth like a lot of money.
Really?
I bought it when it was really cheap, and it was like the best one. This is ridiculous.
Wow. So this is your NFT.
that's
Yep.
me. That's me sitting at my desk editing videos. Oh man, hold on, man. I gotta show the camera.
guy.
Yeah, that was the first one I ever bought.
You can see it.
And then
That's
I got
me.
really into it for like 2 months. Lost a bunch of money, but this one, the first one I bought, did the best. So
what else
I
you
still
got?
have it. Oh man, just a bunch of stupid stuff.
You got how many NFTs you got?
Probably 20.
Wow.
Whoa.
But
Yeah.
most of them just went to zero. So like,
Yeah.
might as well
Wow.
not even have them. But there's this one. It's called Board Breakfast Club,
Mm-hmm.
and they send you coffee shipments.
Oh, that's
You-
cool.
You go on the website, and you have to have the NFT to get on the website and claim the coffee, and then they send it to your house.
Wow. See, that's why I like NFTs because there's
Yes.
utility
What-
behind
Exactly.
What they can be. That's always been my stance on
it.
NFT.
Oh, don't say it because this guy's anti-NFT.
No, I'm not.
right
Don't
here.
let him say that. I literally agree with exactly what he's saying. I think what can be done with NFTs in the future, especially as we move towards like a more digital age, it's mind blowing. Like what can be done with them. But I am completely against the idea of just spending $100K on a colorful ape just because you can resell it for more money or
I
take a hit.
absolutely am too, and I just did it because I thought I was gonna make money quick, and it all crashed, and it was stupid. So
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
believe
I'm
me,
against that too.
I was there too. Like I was in that seat, like sitting like damn, like, and I remember going back and forth with him, like, should we buy one of these? Should we not? Like, should I do it? But then over time, like I realized like I can see a use for like most kinds of cryptocurrencies, and that's like what I tried to relate it to when I first got into it, because at the time I was a big investor in crypto. I was like, I can kind of see the use here, like what it can be used for, but I see no true value in it yet. The same way as now I see no true value in like a Dogecoin or something like that.
Yeah.
So at the time, I guess, I don't know. I just didn't give it enough of a fair shot. And I still, like you're saying, I don't really get the idea of just buying and flipping a colorful image. Like I would never really see the true value in that, but what can be done with it in the future, I think it's amazing.
I think what's cool though is that those high profile NFTs are a form of expression.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This is what I was talking to Brian about the other day. Like, if you go on Instagram and you see somebody with a blue check, that in itself is an expression.
Yeah.
It's like a flex. And the same thing, it can be coined with certain clothing, like a fashion. You know what I mean? If you have a certain article of clothing or whatever, it's a certain expression. You're outwardly expressing yourself to other humans. So to go on somebody's digital wallet and to see they have a Bored Ape, it's a form of it's a flex.
Yeah.
Like you're expressing that I have this, and be it as it may, you're showing somebody something, and there's value in that. There's human desire there.
That's fair, but I think like with all things, it really matters like what you're interested in. Like if somebody told me they had like $1 billion bottle of wine from the 1700s, I wouldn't really give a fuck because I don't really care about wine.
Sure, yeah.
But if it's something, let's say I'm interested in, like, oh, you have a fucking Tom Brady helmet that was signed from whenever, like, I'd be more interested in that because I like football. I don't really give a fuck about wine. You know what I mean? So I guess like all things like that, it's really just up to your interest. And those specific things don't really interest me. But if you also said like, rather than like a Bored Ape, let's sell like a picture of Mike Tyson knocking somebody out, like a one-of-one picture that was from a specific time. I think that's cool. Like that has like some merit to it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, to me, those don't necessarily make sense.
I understand that. And, but so how do you have a MetaMask account?
I do.
Is that how you purchase NFTs through MetaMask? And then do you use like the MoonPay?
No, so I buy crypto on Coinbase and then I send it to my wallets.
Okay.
I have 6 wallets.
Damn, see, I tried to buy an NFT. One day I was green light. I was like, I'm ready to do it. I want to have an NFT. And I was going to buy the full send meta card, which in retrospect I think would have went well because I think the floor price was like $300.
Yeah.
I see some people selling them for much more than that now. But I signed up for MetaMask, got the seed phrase, right? And then I had to I had to purchase, I think it was Ethereum on Coinbase, try to send it to my MetaMask account, and then I had to transfer it with MoonPay. Yep. But then I couldn't get past that part. Yeah. And then my bank was calling me like, yo, there's these crazy transactions happening right now. Like, is this you? And I'm like, yeah. But then I kept having to like verify my MoonPay account and do like this facial recognition stuff, and I just was like, nah, fuck this. Yeah. I couldn't get past it. So what's the process like to buy an NFT? Because I feel like it's kind of out of reach for like normal people. Agreed.
And just to touch on that, we're really early in this space right now. We have the tools, or not? We don't have the tools. We have the building blocks, but we don't have the tools yet to allow regular people to buy NFTs yet. So it's like the internet. You know, back in 2000, not very many people used the internet because it wasn't user friendly. But
sure, yeah.
And like NFTs, you don't even need to have a picture necessarily. Like a movie ticket could be an NFT. Yeah. I think they will be in the future. Right. So we just need to, build up that infrastructure. But anyway, back to the how do I buy NFTs? First of all, I really don't anymore. Second of all, if I were to do it, I would take cash from my bank, whatever, buy Ethereum on Coinbase, and then send it to my MetaMask account. So MoonPay, I believe, is like a decentralized way of buying crypto. So if you already had bought it on Coinbase, you wouldn't need to use MoonPay.
So maybe I didn't do that then.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
If you were using MoonPay, then that might have been bad. You might have been trying to buy it twice.
Maybe. Yeah. But I got reimbursed, so I mean I'm good now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I just never got it. I didn't get away with an NFT though, which is why I'm upset about it because I didn't get my.
And that does hold some value to it. Like I think like the idea of the full send meta card, like it has merit to it. It's a YouTube page that millions of people like, and you want to meet these people and you want to be involved in some of the things they're doing. So they give you access to facilities and events and stuff like that. That's really cool.
Yeah. I think also the aspect of being able to invest in people. In companies. It doesn't even have to be companies. It could be artists. It could be individual creators. You can invest in them in a way that would be similar to investing into a company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so if the Go-Getters wanted to do an NFT, we can make it happen. And people who really believe in the Go-Getters might, buy that $10 NFT of whatever that might be, because they believe that the Go-Getters one day will have 100 million subscribers on YouTube, and, we'll be able to have a ton of utility with it. But that is also like an aspect of NFTs. Like that's one of the value pieces of NFTs.
Yeah, that's what Gary Vee's pushing for.
Yeah.
Like he really wants people to work on utility and adding value rather than just making an artwork one time and then just making a bunch of money off of it.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Yeah.
What's your take on the augmented reality of like the metaverse, and where do you see stuff like that taking like us as a species, humans, going into that digital age?
I don't like it. I think we already have enough distractions with like social media and stuff. Just the mindless scrolling is just so bad for us, and I really try not to do that as much as I can. I think that there will be good uses for it, but I also think that it could contribute to, our dopamine addiction that we already have. I think that I don't know. I haven't really thought about this very much, but I don't think I'll be participating in that because, like I said, I'm not a gamer. So
I wouldn't be an early adopter of that either. And it's funny because I am. I love video games. I'm kind of like you in the sense where I try to shy away from social media because I don't think it's very productive unless you're using it for like what we use it for. Like I really just promote things on my pages and whatnot, but I definitely don't think I'd be an early adopter of it, but I think no matter what, it's inescapable. Like we'll come to a point where it will probably be something you need to adopt, or you just won't be able to keep up with the advancements that everybody else is making. And in like a very competitive world, in a very competitive field that like we are in, I think it'll get to a point where you probably need to adopt it to be successful, which is what kind of scares me. But
I agree with that, and it also scares me because I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to live my life. I want to live my life in this body, and I want to experience the world like that, and I don't want to sit in my room on a headset.
I'm the same way, man. Like I love it's funny because me and him recently, like we had scheduled actually with those people we were telling you about, the book thinkers, we are going to be doing a Zoom meeting. So it'll probably be one of our only, or if anything, it'll be our first over like voice chat, video call, whatever you want to call it, like a podcast that way. And it honestly kind of scares me because I much prefer the idea of doing what we're doing right now, like just sitting down in person and being able to be people and being able to be connected. That's what I like more than anything. And mind you, like I do like online, I like playing video games, stuff like that. But I think it's an interesting balance. But like I said, I think no matter what, it's going to be inescapable. At some point, to do a podcast, you're going to have to fucking put the metaverse AR goggles on. You're going to have to enter the metaverse, and you're going to have to sit down at a digital table with your digital friends. And it's really terrifying to me.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to recreate this experience, though.
No.
I don't know.
I don't know. At least not. I don't think it would happen in our day and age. But I don't know, because it's only been a few years ago that they even invented the iPhone. You know what I mean? We saw that. Like, we lived through that. So there's really no telling, like, the kinds of technological advances that would be made even in the next 5 years or the next 10 years. Like when I think of that, I genuinely have no idea what the fuck's going to come. Like when I think of where technologically we'll be in 2032, I don't even want to think about that if I'm being truthful, because it's fucking terrifying, the advancements that we've made in the last couple of years and like where it can go. I don't know. That shit, I don't know. It's terrifying to think about, right?
Imagine showing a dude from the 1950s an iPhone.
Oh my God.
Like,
oh my God.
What is this?
If you can travel to any point in history, where do you think you'd go?
I mean, probably right here, man. We're
Really?
living in the best time. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Like nothing you're curious about?
I mean, I'm curious, but I wouldn't want to necessarily live there. If I were to just travel
Just
for
4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days. Man, I don't know. I feel like if you go too ancient, you're just gonna die.
Yeah, that's a good point. You see dinosaurs just fuck around and get eaten by T-Rex.
Maybe like go to back to Sparta or something.
You might fuck around and die in Sparta.
Yeah, you'd
though.
probably die. Yeah,
Yeah.
never mind. I don't know.
Who knows?
Let's go anywhere where you have a chance that like, you just fucking lock yourself in a box for 5 days. You won't starve to death, but you'll just make it out of that window in time, and you will survive. That's probably how I
You
would
could probably convince the Spartans that you're a god, though. Like, yo, look at this shit.
Yeah,
See
true.
this?
If you had a phone with you.
They'd
Or even
probably-
just like what you're wearing. Like if you think about like what you're wearing right now, like if you teleported to like a time frame like that, like I have a fucking Apple Watch on my wrist.
and they saw a graphic
like
T-shirt, they'd be
bands,
like, "Whoa,
T-shirts, like what the fuck
what is happening?"
that? Like,
Right?
You could probably just walk around with your arms out like this, and they would all just fucking jaw
hover
drop.
around you.
Yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
What about you though? Where would you go back to?
I don't know, man. I think I might. I don't know. There's so many cool time periods in history, and there's so many questions.
That's like your thing though, right? Like you love the idea of like, I guess, ancient culture.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Yeah, I can read about that stuff all day. Recently, I've been reading about. So check this out. So, I started reading about a year and a half ago, and my girlfriend got me into it. She's a big reader, and I read a lot of cool books, but each book that I read was kind of completely different than the last. So I'd read one book one day about psychology, and I'd read another book the next day about business. And then the next day I'd read one about physics. And then the next day I'd read one about, whatever. So the subject matter was quite different along the books that I would read. And I got to talking with Lydia, and I asked her, I said, we were talking about how each human lives with a sort of an illusion. Like they're blind to something,
Yeah.
Like we all have something that either we refuse to see clearly or we can't. And I got to thinking, and I got to asking her, like, where do you think I'm blind? Because I think I can see relatively clearly. I think I'm within reality. Because oftentimes you see people who, they just aren't seeing clearly. So anyway, I asked her, where do you think I'm blind? She said, sometimes you'll read a book and believe you're an expert because you read one book. I was like, whew, damn, that was a fucking hit in the chest right there. So I got to thinking, well, I dropped out of college, and I was on a walk with my dog, and I'm like, well, what if I built my own curriculums? And what if I built my own, like, subject matter and my own studies? And what if I read specific types of books for an extended period of time? And so I started doing that, and now I'm reading about Eastern philosophy and Eastern thought. So lately I've been reading books like this one here.
Yeah. Other one.
Be Water, My Friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it would be cool because there's a book called The Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi, who was a samurai in the 1600s, and he's largely credited to be the greatest samurai in history. So I think it'd be cool to live in like feudal Japan.
Yeah.
And see that type of like lifestyle, like where martial arts was really beginning to emerge in the lifestyle and the samurai, like dokudo and stuff like that. It seems really cool.
It's funny. I always say that too. Like if I can go back to any time, I don't know. I'm just really interested with that culture.
Like me and you have an argument.
Yeah.
Draw the sword.
Broadsword.
Finish it that way. You know?
You might get disemboweled if you go back.
Yeah, you just
you
might. The fucking heel hooks might not do you too well down there.
They might not.
Nah. You're fucking dealing with Bruce Lee and shit.
Yeah.
Kick your fucking head off. But yeah, man. I'm actually
How
about
about
to
you?
run down to pee real quick. Huh?
How about you?
What do you mean? Like, where would I teleport
Yeah.
back to? That's like what I was
Feudal
getting at.
Japan?
Kind of, yeah, because I don't know. I don't know. I guess you could say I'm just drawn to that culture. Like, for example, it'll sound stupid, like this shirt, like a Japanese shirt. Like, I just love the writing. Like, I love the art. Like, I love, I don't know. Like, I love the way, like, the fucking, like, the dragon looks. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, like, it's a weird, like, aura or, like, energy to it. It just is a big calling for me. Or I would say, like the early stages of, like, this country that we live in. Like, what it looked like when it was founded and, like, what people did and just being in America without, like, America really being America yet, I think would be pretty cool to see. Personally, I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder what that would look like. Just, like, more or less what I was getting at was to be able to, like, see the land that we live on now that looks, like, very modern. There's houses everywhere. There's power lines. We have fucking corporations and buildings everywhere. Like, what Wilkes-Barre, PA would look like uninhabited. No buildings, no, like, streets. Like, just what the fuck would it look like? Would it just be a jungle here? Like, Lord knows. I don't know. That's what I would be interested in seeing, I guess, if not that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
What are we at?
Fucking an hour 13. We can keep going.
Yeah, we can keep rocking.
How much time you got?
I got all day.
All right, bet, man. Yeah, let me run
Cool.
it.
All right.
Cool, man. So, fitness. and you started a fitness page.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man. One time I started, I was young and trying to be entrepreneurial. I guess I was sort of rebellious in a way. And I hated the idea of working for other people. I hated like the authority that came with having a boss and that type of stuff. So I discovered entrepreneurship and people working for themselves. And I was like, well, maybe I can work for myself. So I tried that as well. I tried to start what's called an Instagram theme page, right?
Yeah.
And at the time I was kind of interested in sneakers, like, people with shoe game or sneakerheads was a cool thing, especially where we're from. And I started a page where I would post about sneakers every day. And I thought eventually, and I was trying to build a website. I guess you and I were in the same story arc at one point in our lives, right? I was trying to build a website on Wix. And I had a friend who was doing drop shipping. And I guess he was pretty good at it. He was building websites, and he had products that he would assign to the websites. And then he would do all these, like, digital funnels and put them all over different social media platforms and try to sell people these products through these websites and advertisements that he'd built. And it went well. I got to like 1,000 followers. I was doing some of those. The main way I got followers was the follow for follow thing.
Yeah.
And then I would unfollow a bunch of people.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You'd fucking
click
it, right? And then I would do a bunch of hashtags, people like that. I would share it to a ton of people. And I got to 1,000 some followers, and then some guy reached out to me about buying it. He was like, yo, I'm really interested in buying your account. I'll buy it for $175. And I was like, really? Like, all right, let's do it. Why not? Because I'm having a hard time with this website. I'm so impatient. I can't do it. And so he's like, yeah, let's set up a Discord. We can have a middleman in the Discord. You send me the information, and I'll send you the money. I was like, all right, cool. Send him the information. Snagged my account.
Oh,
Got no money for it. Broke my heart. I was so upset.
That's
The Instagram account?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram theme page I was trying to build.
Is it still up?
I don't know. But I built, like, my uncle and I had this little business where we were doing logo designs. And so we built a logo for it and everything. The logo was so cool. We called it Kicks Junction. That was my page name.
It's a good name.
And snagged it right from me. I wonder if it's still on the gram, though. I wonder how they're doing now.
I mean, would you even be able to find it, though? Like, they probably just changed the username and image.
I don't know.
That really sucks.
I wanted to drop ship, like, shoe keychains on it, and maybe shoes. If I could get a hold like a pair of shoes, I think that'd be really cool. But that was a legit thing that people were doing. I saw. You ever heard of Bia Heza? Yeah, this it's still up, and they got my page is still up, man.
Damn, is it?
Have they
Yo,
posted
Instagram,
recently?
take it down.
Yeah.
Take them down.
Here it
These
is.
fucks. Mark Zuck. I just watched a podcast that you were in.
Stole my page.
Take these motherfuckers down, because this is not okay.
When's the latest post?
Let's see. April 23rd, 2021.
And they have 2,500 followers, so they built it up quite some, but not enough.
They probably sold it.
They honestly probably don't even use it anymore. They haven't used it at all in over a year, so
They might have sold it.
that's true
So
too.
people do that. Like, they'll build a page or they'll buy a page with like 10, 15, 20,000 followers.
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever.
you should see the amount of people that will DM me now based off like this stuff, and every time I'll like put @s or like hashtags and like podcast related pictures and stuff. The amount of people that will DM me trying to get me to buy pages or to buy pages off of me. Like, why? I don't know. It's an interesting way of handling business. But I guess that there is a lot of money in that. There's a lot of money in just Instagram @names, which is something that really surprises me.
Yeah.
If you want like if you're like a Drake who doesn't go by Drake on Instagram but wanted to buy the name @Drake off somebody on Instagram, like you can probably get him for a lot of money if you really wanted it.
Yeah.
It's fucked up that like that online market and how that works.
Imagine the people with like first names.
Oh
like
yeah,
Matt or
Kyle.
Joe.
Yeah.
Like that must be worth so much.
it's funny because like I went on that. There was like a weird little fucking moment in my life, like when I was getting into all this stuff that like I wanted to have like the coolest @names and like the coolest usernames for like my pages and stuff. And I mean, obviously my name Kevin is pretty like simple, so a lot of people would probably have already had that if they wanted it. But funny enough, the guy who has @Kevin on Instagram is the co-founder of Instagram, so I'm never gonna get that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So, yeah, man. And I remember when I realized that the first day, I was like, fuck. Because maybe you could just, if they're like, it's a big page already, you can hit them up and offer to pay for it. But like, no matter what, like, I would never be able to get that page.
Yeah, there's like bot farms that create and buy and snag name accounts, right?
And I learned that, remember I was telling you about that in switching around some of our like go-getters Instagram pages, like the names of them, they make it like a 14-day window now, because what will happen is, say like you're an @ name on Instagram, say you wanted to change it, you didn't like it or whatever, so you change your name, but you either wanted that name back or you wanted to like apply that @ name to another account. They make you wait 14 days now because I guess people have created what he's describing as bot farms that like literally the moment you change that @ name, they would just take it instantly. So like if I have a pretty cool @ name, but I wanted to change it up, I wanted to do something different or whatever, the moment you click that change button, a bot would snag that name, take it.
That's crazy.
It's gone. So I guess they implemented that 14-day limit, and I'm sure that that's still not enough for them to get around. Like I'm sure you could still just farm names that way if you wanted to. There's just more of a window, I guess, in between rather than the moment you click change. Gives you somewhat of a chance, I guess.
Yeah, and there's a similar thing with Ethereum addresses. Have you heard of Ethereum name service?
No.
It's just like rather than using an address that looks like just a bunch of random characters, you actually like register like a word. So like I could just do matt.eth. And then if you send it to that, then it would go to my address, and those are worth so much.
Really?
Like especially the 3-character ones. I don't think they have 2-character, but the 3-character ones are going for like thousands of dollars.
That's the same. That's actually a market for that on Instagram as well, and I'm sure you know like website URLs.
Yeah,
like getting like a very specific website URL that you want for your page, like that can run you a lot of money. I believe. I forget what the name of it was. I think it might have been Diamond. If you wanted like diamond.com, it would cost you like $1 million to get that URL or some shit like that, which is insane.
Yeah, it is.
Like I was on what's that one platform, the website building I was just talking about it earlier. Fuck.
GoDaddy?
No. Squarespace, is that what it is? Squarespace. Yeah, I was trying to get the gogetters.com. I was just like that. I would go on there to see like, because one of their first options that you could do is like type in URLs and if they're available, and if so, how much you would need to spend on them. And I think even the one for like just the gogetters.com was like a couple $1,000. So
Really?
yeah, it's insane.
I use Google domains, and they're usually pretty good.
What is it? That would it be .google?
No, it's just Google has a domain registry service, so you could just get the gogetters.com through Google, and it's usually cheaper than like everything else.
Oh yeah. Well, I would assume that Squarespace is trying to make like a good royalty off their service, so I would imagine a lot of that money goes into like their profit as well.
Yeah.
What did you call that? You said it was Google domain?
Google domains, yeah.
I have to look into that, man, because that's pretty cool. Yeah, I want to find like to get a good like @ name for, or a good URL name for this podcast, like when we make or a website or whatever to host our podcast off of.
I could definitely help out with that.
Yeah, man, that would actually be dope. We would love to talk to you behind scenes about that, because what we're trying to do is, rather than going through like a specific service to host our podcast, like like Buzzsprout, I don't know if you're familiar with them or anything like that like host these episodes to other platforms for you. I found that an easier way, but a little more costly way of doing it, was to just get a website created in which you can just host your podcast off your website.
Yeah.
And then places like Apple Podcasts and Spotify can just pull from your website, like your episodes and whatever they need to have for like on their side of the thing to handle like what goes up on those platforms. So yeah, that's going to be one of our next steps, and to also sell merchandise off of, because similar to like what you were saying earlier, we definitely want to start selling some kind of like just t-shirts to start on our website coming out pretty soon, or just off anything. We'll probably just use social medias to start, but it's definitely it's better for our business if we get a website made. So yeah, we'll definitely talk to you more behind the scenes about that.
All right.
Getting a website made, man. But fuck, I mean, what are you guys thinking? Good? Want to wrap her up?
I think so.
All right, man.
Tell the people where to find you, man. Like, give them your Instagrams, whatever you want out there for the people to be able to come, you know.
Website.
Yeah, so I guess MatthewSaxe.com. I deleted Instagram and Twitter and stuff off my phone, so I have the accounts. I just don't use them. It's MattSaxe17. That's pretty much everything. That's Twitter, Instagram, all that. So, yeah, I still check them occasionally, just going through a browser, but, yeah.
Why'd you delete them? Did they become toxic in your life?
Yeah, man. I just kept scrolling, and I didn't want to. I like TikTok was the worst, so I had TikTok for a while, and it was just eating up like 3 hours of my day.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got rid of that, and I feel more calm. Cool. My mind is in a better place. So yeah.
Where do you find that? We'll end on this because I'm always curious when people give that as an answer. Like, what have you focused, I guess you could say, all the time you were wasting on like social media and stuff? Where have you refocused that time? Like, what do you apply all that time now to in your life?
Yeah, so reading is one. I started doing jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. Yeah. Working out, and I guess coding. I do a lot of coding just on the side. So
have you found like it's helped you with like anything, let's say like anxiety or whatever related? Like, has it helped you kind of get over like comparing yourself to like other people or other lifestyles that like people portray on social media all day? Or is that not even really a problem for you to begin with?
That wasn't really a problem for me. I almost feel like I have something inside of me that wants to do the Instagram thing again.
Yeah.
And kind of like build my brand on there. But I don't know how to go about that in such a way that I can be responsible with my time. Because if I have that app on there, it's hard for me to stay off of it.
Well, he has a pretty good way of doing that. He has like some sort of like time cap on his.
I have limits on my.
Yeah, I had that too, and then I would just hit ignore for today.
Right.
Yeah,
I get caught doing that sometimes too. But that's a very good point. Like, I always, I'm always, not always, but sometimes I'm speculating, like, how can I utilize these platforms?
Yeah.
But then you just get caught as a consumer and you're just mindlessly scrolling. And I think one important point to, like, getting off of your social media platforms and, like, removing that aspect of your life is it allows you to think independently.
Yes. Yeah. Which is, I think, a big problem a lot of people are faced with today.
Yeah. A lot of people don't think for themselves. They usually have something that they've seen that might have coerced them into thinking one way or another.
Yeah.
They might not have actually thought critically about it with their own human intelligence.
And as a blanket statement, I genuinely think most people that use any kind of social media have some kind of bias towards something based off something they've seen online.
Maybe, yeah.
I would assume most people that use social medias do.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an idea about something and you see somebody that agrees, you're going to be like, oh, follow.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you see in that again, and then you follow more people like that, and it's just an echo chamber.
Yeah.
You're just hearing the same stuff back to
That's
yourself.
exactly what it is. And then you believe that to be true, and you don't ever let no outside source or outside opinions ever infiltrate that, and that becomes a very bad habit for people.
Yeah, I think it's good to look at stuff that you don't agree with, and your first reaction is going to be like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But then you go, well, is it though? Like, and you try to put yourself in that person's position and really think what they're thinking.
Yeah.
And I have really been trying to do that lately, and I find it to be very helpful. You can kind of step back and see what they're thinking as well. So
one thing, I'm happy you said that. One thing I've been trying to do a lot recently with people that may not be liked by a lot of people, or opinions or stances that may not be liked by a lot of people, I've been trying to argue both sides of the argument. Like, argue my point of view, whether I agree with something or I disagree with it, and then argue the other way, like why I disagree with this or why I do agree with this. And I think it's been helping me be a lot more objective, and I guess a lot less hateful towards people I do not know or I'll probably never meet. You know what I mean? Because it's very easy to just hop online and say, fuck you because of this thing you said, and not know anything about a person. I think it's very easy, and it's very toxic to live a life that way. So I've just been trying to be more objective with it that way, and just trying to argue both sides, just seeing both sides of the argument and how it applies to my life.
I think that fits within us having illusions.
Yeah.
Like, that's where some of our illusions originate.
Yeah, man. Let's end it on that note.
Yes, sir.
My buddy Matt over here is going to develop the next social media platform for us all to not be fucks.
No, but a legit NFT marketplace, which is going to be super cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Don't use it. Don't buy the NFTs because you won't make any money. But
maybe for fun.
Yeah, let's do it for fun.
Okay. And then Spartan Race, we got one coming up September 10th.
Hell yeah.
Fuck, I'm going to have to start going running.
I know.
And some cardio and shit. Damn, that's a bad day.
And jiu-jitsu, software engineer, fucking all around.
Bitcoin.
Investor.
Savage.
Jack of all trades.
I appreciate that.
Come on.
Come on.
All right. Peace.
Boom.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Matt.
too,
Thank you for coming on, man.